Great heroes and diabolical villains are the types of characters that people long to be. But not our MC. He longs to become the true mastermind behind it all, pulling the strings and having his machinations drive the entire story. In his previous life in modern-day Japan, he was not able to achieve his goals. But now, reborn into a world of magic, he will show the true eminence of Shadow. As MC pretends to be just another average mob character, he recruits members to his organization Shadow Garden, aiming to take down the mysterious cult who lurks in the shadows. With plenty of ad-libs, Sid leads his organization against a foul Diabolos cult. Getting isekai'd to a magical world and developing incredible powers is every otaku's wildest dream, but for salaryman Yuji Sano, it's the stuff of absolute nightmare. He's in the middle of a mountain of work when he gets unwillingly pulled into a fantasy realm, where he accomplishes the enviable feat of developing a second character class by making the most of his monster tamer abilities. Now he's traded the office for adventuring to make a living, but he keeps getting roped into major events because his powers are unmatched, second to none, and he doesn't even realize it yet. Meet Alto, an unfortunate student at Royal Ortija Magic Academy, whose academic performance leaves much to be desired. Rather than take a more sensible approach to salvaging his grades in time for graduation, Alto decides to summon a bit of otherworldly assistance. Only after does he learn he's bound the legendary she-devil Vermeil into service as his familiar. But while Vermeil is a powerful ally sure to turn his grades around, her magic can only be replenished with a kiss, and that makes everything go to hell with Alto's jealous childhood friend, Lilia. Struggling with life and society, high school student Michio Kaga wanders about the internet and lands on an odd website. The website, featuring a number of questions and a point-based system, allows one to create skills and abilities for a character. Upon completing his character, Kaga was transported to a game-like fantasy world and reborn as a strong man who can claim idol-level girls. Thus begins the cheat and harem legend of a reborn man. Waking up in a strange new place with no memory of his past life, Kelvin learns that he's bartered away those very memories in exchange for powerful new abilities during his recent transmigration. Heading out into a whole new world as a summoner, with his first follower being the very goddess who brought him over, Kelvin begins his new life as an adventurer, and it isn't long before he discovers his hidden disposition as a battle junkie. From the Black Knight of the ancient castle of evil spirits to the demon within the hidden cave of the sage, he revels in the fight against one formidable foe after another. Join this OP adventurer in an exhilarating and epic saga as he and his allies carve their way into the annals of history. Office worker Leon is reincarnated into a particularly punishing dating sim video game where women reign supreme and only beautiful men have a seat at the table. But Leon has a secret weapon. He remembers everything from his past life, which includes a complete playthrough of the very game in which he is now trapped. Watch Leon spark a revolution to change this new world in order to fulfill his ultimate desire of living a quiet, easy life in the countryside. After saving humanity from the despicable Demon King, Leo Demonheart does not earn a hero's standing. Instead, he is regarded with suspicion and hostility by those he fought to protect. Treated as a pariah with nowhere else to turn, exiled Leo seeks a position in the army of his former nemesis, but the army is not what it once was before its defeat at Leo's hands, so to maintain his new position, Leo must whip the forces back into fighting shape. As the most powerful entity of all time, the demon lord Barbados thinks life is a big fat snore. When he takes matters into his own hands and decides to reincarnate, he calibrates his magical strength to be perfectly average. But there is no way he could have predicted that everyone in the modern world would be weak as hell, which means he is totally overpowered once again. Reborn under the name Ard, he has ladies fawning over him, the royal family begging him to become the next king, and an ex-minion insisting on killing him, but Ard has a one-track mind. One day, a gamer played video games until he fell asleep, and when he woke up, he found himself in the game world as a skeleton. Equipped with the powerful weapons and armor of his avatar, but stuck with its frightening skeletal appearance, Ark has to find a place for himself in this new fantastical land. All his hopes for a quiet life are dashed when he crosses paths with a beautiful elven warrior, setting him on a journey full of conflict and adventure. His strength limited by the magical crest with which he was born, Matthias, the world's most powerful sage, decides reincarnation is necessary to become the strongest of all. Upon his rebirth as a young boy, Matthias is thrilled to discover he's been born with the optimal crest for magical combat on his first try. Unfortunately, the world he's been born into has abysmally poor standards when it comes to magic, and everyone thinks he's still marked for failure. Now it's up to Matthias to prove everyone wrong. World's strongest sage style. The world's #1 assassin has been reincarnated as the eldest son of a family of aristocrat assassins. In exchange for being reincarnated in another world, a goddess has imposed upon him one condition: kill the hero who is prophesied to destroy the world. This was to be the mission in his new life. The synergistic effect of the vast knowledge and experience he gained that made all manner of assassinations possible in the modern world, and the secret techniques and magic of the fantasy world's most powerful family of assassins. Hiragi Seiichi is an ugly, revolting, dirty, smelly fat ass. These are the insults hurled at him one after another about his appearance. Such was Seiichi's daily school life of bullying. Then for some reason, one day when school was out, a voice claiming to be a god said over the PA system to prepare to be transported to another world. What's more, not Seiichi alone, but the entire school. A fantasy world where game-like elements such as levels, stats, and skills exist. However, the god still had preparations to complete for the transfer and would send them over as soon as the hero summoning ritual was ready. The classes all formed groups to wait for the transfer, but Seiichi alone was discluded. In the ruined city of the dead far from human civilization lives a single human child named Will. He is raised by 3 undead: Blood the heroic skeleton warrior, Mary the ladylike mummy priestess, and Gus the crotchety ghost wizard. The 3 of them teach the boy what they know and pour their love into him. One day, the boy begins to wonder, who am I? Will uncovers the mysteries of the undead hidden in this faraway land. He learns of the love and mercy of good gods, as well as the paranoia and madness of evil gods. And once he learns it all, the boy embarks on the path to becoming a paladin. After the death of his grandfather, 19-year-old Kazuya Sauma, an aspiring civil servant, is left all alone with no one to call family. Out of the blue, he is transported to the Elfriden Kingdom, a small ailing country in another world, to be a hero. An ongoing war with the demon army has put the entire world in peril, and Kazuya was summoned to aid in the conflict as an offering from Elfriden to its allies. Dissatisfied with being used as tribute, Kazuya decides to help the kingdom revamp its declining economy, not by way of adventuring or war, but through administrative reform. Abruptly declared the king of Elfriden and betrothed to the princess, the realist hero Kazuya sets out to assemble a group of talented citizens. Makoto Misumi was just an average teenager who happened to suddenly be summoned to another world as a hero. But the goddess of this world called him ugly and took his hero status away from him, then sent him to the ends of the world. In the wastelands, he meets dragons, spiders, orcs, dwarves and many other non-human races. Makoto manages to show promises in the use of magic and fighting, which he wouldn't have been able to do in his former world. He has numerous encounters, but will he be able to survive this new world? His past life and current life are intersecting. A boy with memories of 2 lives faces his destiny. After his mother was killed at an early age, the orphaned Ryo fought his hardest to survive in the slums. One day, he awakens to the memories of Haruto Amikawa, who died in an accident while dreaming of being reunited with his childhood friend, and Ryo realizing he has reincarnated in a world of swords and sorcery. Not only that, but after helping stop an attempt to kidnap a princess that he stumbled upon, he finds himself enrolled in a famous school where the children of the nobility gather. As Ryo attempts to rise up from the bottom of a hierarchical society, he will have new encounters and say many goodbyes. Yuki Hiroshi has just picked up Kiwam Quest, the realest VR MMO ever made. But this RPG is too lifelike. He can smell, taste, feel, and when he's hurt in it, his physical body is hurt too. Even worse, his abilities in this adventure suck as much as they do in daily life. This was supposed to be immersion, not reality. Consumed with winning, he swears he'll conquer this game even if it kills him. Why would an overworked woman want to be summoned to a magical new world? To live her ideal life of leisure, of course, for say, it's truly a dream. studying spells and perfecting potions at the institute while helping people with their problems. But keeping a low profile is proving to be difficult as her magical power becomes omnipotent. Can Sei hide away in this fantasy forever? She hopes so. Aloof and logical middle school third-year Yuasuke Utsaya is transported to a game-like alternate world. He becomes a third player and takes on a dangerous quest with his classmates Yu Shindo and Kusu Hakazaki, who were transported there earlier. The cold Yuasuke eschews emotionalism and examines all elements with detachment, sometimes even toying with the lives of his companions. Can he protect his party from attacking monsters, difficult incidents, and powerful scheming enemies, and win the game? When a 34-year-old underachiever gets run over by a bus, his story doesn't end there. Reincarnated in a new world as an infant, Rudius will seize every opportunity to live the life he's always wanted. Armed with new friends, some freshly acquired magical abilities, and the courage to do the things he's always dreamed of, he's embarking on an epic adventure, with all of his past experience intact. The protagonist, was just an ordinary high school girl, but suddenly I was reincarnated as a spider monster in a fantasy world. Not only that, but I awakened in a dungeon filled with vicious monsters. Armed with only my human knowledge and my overwhelming positivity, I'm forced to use spider webs and traps to defeat far stronger monsters just to stay alive. So begins the labyrinth survival story of a girl with incredible mental strength, living as one of the lowest ranked beasts. The story follows Lloyd, a budding adventurer who just wants to get stronger. His plan? Head to the capital and discover his true power, even though he grew up being considered a weakling. So Lloyd heads out from his hometown, which interestingly exists directly next to the most dangerous dungeon. He might not think of himself as strong, but he'll soon learn that there's even more of a difference between him and other starting adventurers. You know, because he grew up next to a deadly dungeon. He's much stronger than he realizes. The Hidden Dungeon is a place of legend where rare treasures and items are hidden. Noir, the third son of an impoverished noble family who's lost the one job offer he had, was lucky enough to hear about this dungeon. He then acquires a skill that allows him to create, bestow, and edit skills, and in order to use it, he needs to accumulate points by carrying out such tasks as eating delicious meals and doing sexual things with alluring members of the opposite sex. Anos, the demon king of tyranny, has defeated humans, spirits, and gods alike. But even demon kings get tired of all the fighting sometimes. Hoping for a more peaceful life, Anos decides to reincarnate himself. When he wakes 2,000 years later, though, he finds the world has become too peaceful, his descendants have grown weak, and magic is in serious decline. Intending to reclaim his rightful place, he enrolls in Demon King Academy, where he finds that his magical power is off the charts. Literally. And because they can't measure his power, the faculty and other students regard Anos as a misfit. With the support of Misha, the one student he manages to befriend, the misfit, Demon King, begins his climb up the demon ranks. Ichinomiya Shingo, a 25-year-old man working at a firm company, while thinking of tomorrow's busy working day, goes to sleep. However, when he woke up, he found himself in a room unknown to him and realized that he is inside a 6-year-old body, taking over his body and mind. He soon learns from the memories of the boy that the boy was born as the youngest child of a poor noble family living in a back country. Having no administrative skill, he can't do anything to manage the vast land his family has. Fortunately, he is blessed with a very rare talent, the talent of magic. Unfortunately, while his talent could bring prosperity to his family, in his situation it only brought disaster. This is the story of the boy, Wendelin von Benno Baumeister, opening his own path in a harsh world. For 820 years he had slumbered with no knowledge of mankind's advancement and scientific progress. The land which he once knew has become an unfamiliar place with new technology, attitudes, and lifestyles. Upon awakening, Kadasa Trauma Dai Razel, Aka Rai, seeks to familiarize himself with this era. He locates a loyal servant of his, Frankenstein, who is currently the principal of a South Korean high school. A force known as astral power permeates throughout the world, wielded by astral mages. Fearing its destructive power, the Empire persecutes those who show their abilities. The tormented mages then founded the Nebula Sovereignty to flee from their oppressors. Since then, the two nations have been in bitter conflict, the war still going strong for more than a century. Embroiled in a 100-year war, young Iska is sent to assassinate the Ice Calamity Witch, Alicilis. Meant to murder each other, their initial encounter on the battleground creates doubt in their mission. Only 39 years into a life full of bad luck, Ryoma Takebayashi passes away in his sleep. Taking pity on him, three divine beings show compassion by reincarnating him as a young boy to a magical, new world. Now he spends his time researching and caring for slimes. But after healing an injured traveler, Ryoma decides to set out with his new friends on a journey to use his power to help others. High school student Kanam Sudu receives an invitation from a classmate to play Darwin's Game, a mobile game he has never heard of. However, as soon as he opens the application, a green snake suddenly pops out from his phone screen and bites his neck, leaving him unconscious. Waking up in the infirmary without any signs of a snake bite, he is told by the school to take the rest of the day off. Although he is puzzled by what has happened, he dismisses the surreal experience as a hallucination and boards the train home. Unfortunately, his curiosity gets the better of him, and he uses the application once again. As the application appears to be just like any other battle game, Kanam breathes out a sigh of relief. Alsha is a world governed by count. Numbers engraved on a person's body, representing any number related to their life. These counts determine a person's social status and power in Alsha. If a count reaches 0, the person is sent to the abyss, a place rumored to be worse than death. For Hina's mother, her total drops to 0, and she's pulled into the abyss, never to be seen again. But her mother's last words send Hina on a quest to find a legendary hero. As always, thanks for watching the video on the top 30 list, and I will see you in my next video.